Gentlemen, yield. I do want to just take up this issue of the spill. It is an important issue, and you just mentioned the very frank and I believe honest comments of Representative Barton, the ranking member of the Energy and Commerce Committee, in which he apologized to BP. Some people might be thinking, he apologized for his apology, so why don't we just drop it? But it doesn't start with Mr. Barton. It doesn't end with Mr. Barton. It actually started with the Republican Study Committee. The Republican Study Committee, which creates policy agenda and talking points for the Republican leadership, and that's headed by a gentleman who was a member of this body named Congressman Tom Price. He's the one, with the help of the committee itself, not just by himself, who released a statement calling for a compensation fund, and calling the compensation fund that you refer to help compensate small business people put out of business by this spill, and people who live on the Gulf, people who suffered a shakedown. So this term political shakedown emerges from the very leadership of the Republican caucus. They say that the President Obama is shaking down the British Petroleum, BP. And from that point, Price makes the statement. This is before Barton ever does. But Price says, BP's recorded willingness to go along with the White House new fund suggests that Obama administration is hard at work exerting its brand of Chicago-style shakedown politics. These actions are emblematic of the politicization of our economy that has been born out of this administration's drive for greater and greater power. It is the same mentality that believes an economic crisis or an environmental disaster is the best opportunity to pursue failed liberal agenda. So this is where this whole shakedown conversation comes. Then after that, Mr. Barton, following the party line, doing what the Republican Study Committee has said to do, says, quote, I am ashamed of what happened in the White House yesterday. I think it's a tragedy of the first proportion that a private corporation can be subject to what I would characterize as a shakedown. In this case, a $20 billion shakedown. Now, it goes on, but in this statement of apology from Barton, I never heard, and maybe I'll yield to the gentleman, any sort of apology or sympathy for the people who live on the Gulf, who make a living there, who go to send their kids to school there, and who now see their economic life ruined.
If I recall correctly, it's not only the extraordinary economic damage. 11 people were killed in this blowout. 11 men who were working on that, who had families, who were trying to earn a living, were killed as a result of it. Now, for BP, it wasn't their only accident. They have the worst safety record in the oil industry. So you're quite right, Congressman Ellison, that the issue of where the Republican Party stands on this, it's not just one member speaking out of turn. It was, in fact, the ranking member of the committee speaking on the talking points developed by the Republican Study Committee, which is the policy development committee for the Republican caucus in this House.
If the gentleman would yield back.